All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the end of your work week. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. We'll talk about what you have on your plate for this week that's due Sunday, Valentine's Day, as well as next week, because that stuff unlocked yesterday, right? Just a quick reminder, and after next class, I'm gonna delete this module. Remember last semester, this is where I load everything for all the missed Zoom classes. Just keep in mind, and I've kind of put a little notice here, after today, I'm gonna delete it, just to kind of streamline this a little bit, because it got towards the end of the semester and you'd have to you'd have to Zoom or scroll, 10 feet down to find the missed class videos. So I'm just gonna put those missed class videos underneath each week. So for example, here's Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and then your guys is right now, after I finish class, I'll load it down here at the bottom for Thursday's video. And then next week's will go under with next week's material and so on. So just a quick reminder about that. So for this week, you have your test. Remember, please, 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 if you haven't started looking at this yet, if you haven't dove into the material or you haven't taken the test yet, do not just take the test and just wing it. You got 2 shots, but that doesn't mean the first shot's a freebie, right? You want to do your best to prep yourself for that first test and then take that retest. Remember, you have 2 chances, right? The original test and the retest, and then they keep the higher of the 2 scores. So if you take the first test and you get anything less than perfect, I would highly recommend give it another shot. If you get a 15, or how many points is this worth? 18. If you get a 17 out of 18, which is a great score, but if you can see which problem you missed and you can review that and go back and bump it up a little bit more to get a perfect score, great. Even if you retake it and get a 16 out of 18, it's going to keep the 17. So it doesn't hurt you to retake it to try to better your score. A lot of students found that their grade wasn't as high as they wanted it to be in second semester. And kind of like I told everybody, and I think I announced it in class, over time, as you go through these assignments, if you keep losing partial credit, right, you keep earning partial credit throughout the semester, it's just going to whittle away your grade over time. And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, you're like, man, how do I have a C? I've done really good on everything, right? But just over time, that little bit that you've lost kind of adds up. So again, that's just some advice from me to you. You do what you want with it, but you get 2 chances for that. So the review is at the end of your unit 4. You can access that straight out of the textbook, or I have PDF versions of it right here. And then my review video tutorial is me just going through that review. So if you need some help with that, the first thing I would recommend is have the solutions manual out. See if you can walk yourself through it, right? If you're the type of person that likes to watch the video tutorial and just like you're sitting in class and you watch me teach, by all means do that. But if you don't want to do that, I would at the very least encourage you to have that solutions manual open as you're going through it. Because like I said, it's got explanations as well as the answer. So as you're working through the problem, it's explaining it, it's showing the steps. Have that out for you. Next week's stuff unlocked yesterday. So we are moving into unit 5. This lesson is perpendicular and angle bisectors. So just to kind of review this, because we have some new students in some of my classes, so I'm just kind of covering everything again. The interactive textbook, this is where you can access the PDF version of the textbook or the website, which is called Envision, where that PDF is at. Or it just tells you what pages we're on. If you don't have a physical textbook, I don't know, it's up to you, but I would go to Timberline, walk in there. You don't need an appointment. Just go in and say, hey, I'm here to pick up a textbook for geometry, and they'll hook you up. If internet goes out, if you just don't feel like getting on your Chromebook, if it dies or whatever, at least you have a textbook to fall back on. The practice problems, the more people I'm talking to, and I talked to Algebra 2 about this, the more people I ask questions about that reach out to me and I start asking questions about what did they see when they did the practice problems, they're not doing these, right? And I get it. I'm not an idiot. I know that a lot of people are doing these vocab and concepts and check-ins, and they're just going through it. I can see it in your Access report that you take it like 8 or 9 times, and it's a process of elimination. You're just guessing and checking with the multiple choice. I'm not ignorant. And I get that, right? I get that that's the environment we're in. And sometimes you're pushed to the due date and you just get it done. But I would strongly encourage you, I expect you to do these practice problems. Math is one of those things where you just can't sit through a 5-minute lecture and bam, you've got it. It falls back on this practice that's called I do, we do, you do. So typically in math class, I go through an example or go through a lesson, cover 2 or 3 different examples, and then we will do 2 or 3 different examples together. And then you will do the rest of the worksheet by yourself as I'm there to kind of help you and answer questions. So it's really important that you're trying out these practice problems. Remember, have that solutions manual out. Open up that video tutorial. It's just me going through the entire lesson for you, all the examples, all the vocab, all that kind of good stuff. So either one of those solutions manual video tutorial will help you through those practice problems. Extra practice is there just in case you need it. Sometimes in a lesson, there's only like 2 or 3 types of problems that deal with this one concept. It's nice to do a few more so you can access that extra practice for that. And then the 2 assignments, they're going to be due Sunday, February 21st. So that's not this weekend. This is next week's stuff. So it's due that Sunday, is the vocab and concepts in the check-in. All right, I'm going to pause, let late people in. We got a handful of them. Feel free to type something in the chat box or unmute yourself if you have a question. No questions? Everybody's good? Okay. All right. So like always, I'm going to hang back, talk with people about grades, about life, about questions, about problems, anything. It doesn't matter what you want to talk about. If you have a question for me, hang back. If you're good to go, I will see you next Thursday, right? We got Monday, Tuesday off. So I'll see you next Thursday. Have a good weekend.
See you next Thursday.
Thanks, Jose. See you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't see who said that, but thank you. Bye, Lily. Thank you, you too. Nathaniel, you got any questions? You got it. Hey, Christian, I got you in that first session. I got you down for attendance, so you're good to go. Do you have any questions for me?
Were you just going over like the same thing you were going over like I think Tuesday, right?
Yeah, same stuff. I'm gonna upload the video here in a second, and I just also emphasize next week's stuff is unlocked too.
All right, cool, thanks.
Cool, man.
Sorry I was late. So doing someone else's assignment. I got kind of mixed
Oh,
up.
that's cool. It's happened to me too. No worries. Thanks, Christian. See you, man.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chapman.
Later, buddy.